tell me when to go. Boom. I slapped the E40 right underneath it and make that my subs hit hard. And they were like, but I only took a piece of her, like maybe 45 seconds. That's all I wanted. And then, boom, right? And then I slapped that beat, kept that going, and slapped that Mac Dre right over it. And then just kind of like, you know, and then it was like, all of a sudden I went right back into my West Coast bangers. I was doing a West Coast night, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to kind of veer a little bit over here. I'll veer right back into it, and I'm going to veer right back out. I mean, and then people were like standing there, like wanting to talk to me, like, I didn't even know they were there. They were like, so they walked off, came back. I'm like, dude, I didn't even know you were sitting there. I was like, what? No. You looked at me. I was like, no, I must have looked right by you. So I was looking at the crowd. I mean, literally when I'm DJing, I feel like I'm in the Matrix or Alice in Wonderland or the Clockwork Orange movie. That's where I'm zoned in when I'm DJing.
Well, see, that's a good feeling. And I try to get, like, I'm teaching my sons now how to DJ, so I'm teaching them, you know, how to really feel the crowd and let loose and let your mind help you find the next record and the feel of the room, find the next record. And for you to say that, I was trying to give them a visualization so when I play them, they hear this back, they're going to be knowing kind of what you're talking about. But before we get off the line, I have one last question that I ask all my music people, especially the veterans. If you had to tell a young person getting into music something that they need to take very serious and do it, what would that one thing be?
Oh, there's a lot. I mean, right now, lately, it's been on the tip of my tongue where I tell a lot of DJs from my area. I mean, I know you're doing what you're doing, and you're trying to respect the game, the veterans like Jam, SJ, DJ Jazzy Jeff, DJ Scratch, Aladdin, all those guys, everybody that paved it for us. But one thing you guys gotta do is do not undercut the other DJs because the club is gonna feel like they can cheat us when we're bringing them everything that, you know, if you're I'm in the business field, I got a business degree. I was like telling these guys that just don't have a business degree. I'm like, hey, if you know how that bar runs, I know how a bar runs. I know how much they can make. I know how much is their overhead. The way we charge them, it has to be that way. Because you start charging them, say, hey, because one guy, I got mad at one guy. I was like, dude, you're saying you take a $50 tab, a free meal, and $50 for a night, and you're going from 9 to 2. Dude, you're messing it up for all of us. Right. And I was like, well, so what should I charge? I'm like, calculate how long you've been in the game, figure out the price, but not that. I mean, literally, if you say 75 an hour, okay, I'll let that slide. But if you've been where I'm at, you know, I've been doing it like 20 years. I mean, at least my low minimum is 100 an hour. No ifs, no buts, no whats. And it all depends on how much I have to charge. Because a regular club will have the lights and sounds, all that little nice and jazz. All I do is bring my mixer and my laptop and mix. And I'd rather bring my own turns because I don't trust anybody else's turns besides mine. Because I know how dialed it is. Right. And I tell them, like, you undercutting us is making the bar owners, they all talk to each other so then they can figure out how they can adjust our wages. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm like, no. And then a lot of people will be like, so, all right. So then I go in there and I'm going to try to take your gig away from you. And I'm like, yo, man, you deserve to take the low pay, go out of town. I mean, literally, we're all trying to set a standard for all the DJs. Minimum, $100 an hour. Weddings, minimum, $1,000. $700 down payment. That's your deposit. Because weddings is very complicated. They want us to do so much things in a wedding. And the husband, he never, it's like, who cares about the husband? Who cares about everybody else? Only 3 people, well, one person you care about is the wife. You make sure her songs are played. The wife's mom and the wife's dad. Those 3 people, everybody else could be in the sidelines. Who cares? You take care of those 3, you definitely getting your paycheck. Right? And then people don't understand, it's like, I can break down the bar. They hit $1,000 in that night, they're making even. They hit $2,000, they're doing good. So they can afford to give us $400 or $500 that night.
Right.
So that's my thing. Is these new DJs that are coming out. I mean, we need to like all unite together. It's like, yeah, unless you're a veteran, unless you're, yeah.
I think we really need like a producer and a DJ union, like a real union.
Yeah. I mean, hospitals have a union. I mean, we need to have a union. I mean, you know, there's, no matter what city you go into, we're going to be like, you know, butting heads about like, why you undercutting me? I mean, I'll go to your gig. I'm like, hey, why don't you pay me? And then, for just one night only, I'll give you a discount. You let your person go up and do their thing. Just give me about 45 minutes an hour. It's like, and then I tell this to everybody, like, I can tell you I can knock him out of the water or her out of the water. I ain't afraid. Cause it's like every morning I wake up and look at myself in the morning, I'm like, you're good. You're fresh. But if there's somebody out there that's better than you, you better darn well be better than him. So then, and then at the same time, you gotta think of yourself as a student. Don't forget that. You're a student every day you wake up. But you also gotta push yourself. I am good. I am fresh. I know what I'm doing. But I'm a student. And I try to tell these DJs here. Someone don't get it. I'm like, that's why we're different. I was like, that's why you get all the cheap gigs and I'm getting all the paid gigs. I could be in a small bar and away from downtown. I've been making 4 times as you.
Exactly.
And I'm just laughing it up. I'm like, dude, and I'm only DJing for like 3-4 hours. I'm already making my $400 or $500. I'm like, but I take care of my bar I'm at. I take care of everybody there. I take care of all the customers. So, but yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got to tell these new DJs. You got to figure something out. There's enough cheddar out there in the world. You just got to take care of each other. Don't let these bar owners try to run us out of the game. Cause we're like a drummer in a band. We're the backbone of the industry. You don't understand? We're the backbone.
That's a good analogy. That's a good analogy, man. Cause a lot
you
of
think about like,
look at it.
yeah. I mean, who's holding that MC and breakers on point, DJ? Metallica, Nirvana. Who's the drummer? Is holding them on. Yeah, you may have a good bass line player, guitar player, and then the singer in the beginning. But who's keeping that rhythm? Drummer. He's playing a simple concept. Yep. He or she has to be right on point. No mess ups, no nothing. They can't mess up. If I'm on stage and I have some artist like performing and he wants me to drum a beat, I'm like, you sure darn know that I am gonna stay on point. I don't care if my feet hurt, my back is hurting me. I'm gonna make sure that pattern is not gonna stop because my name is on the line. It's like I want to go there and I want to be even like I'm an A+ DJ.
And in this game, all you really have is your name.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, they only do, they look at it like, your name. So I'm trying to keep putting more weight on that name. I mean, there's a lot of cats out here, I mean, they say they're DJs, but, you know, they do like a gig once or twice a year. I'm like, might as well just be a bedroom DJ. I started out in the bedroom, but now I'm rocking clubs, parties, birthday parties, school jams, weddings, radio station. And then,
see, that's the thing.
Scratching.
A lot of artists,
yeah.
A lot of DJs and artists don't understand. You, especially when you've been in the game as long as people like we have. You know, there's a what I call an incline, you know, a hill, and then once you get to the hill, you So another incline up to the top of the mountain. You know, we don't get certain levels of the mountain we get to. But either way you look at it, when you're looking back down, that club owner, that venue, they have to look at where you're standing at the mountain. And they kind of got to pay you your trip up the mountain. And these young guys, when they, what I call dilute the game, because when they do those cheap prices like you were talking about, it's nothing but diluting the game. And then now when you dilute the game, you think you're hurting this guy over here to try to get his gig. But what you did is, like you said, all these 6 club owners in the town, they all have beers together. And now they say, hey, you know, little DJ Johnny, he's only DJing for $45 a night. What? Well, I don't need to be paying him this. I need to be paying. So they don't understand. I'm glad you brought that to light, because now maybe that will change the situation when younger DJs think about doing that, as we will call BS. Do you have any shout-outs or any love you need to give Budget before you get off the line?
Yeah. I mean, just like my boy that got me started, he's a Native American DJ. He got me into it, named DJ T. It's 2 E's. It's not like the letter T, but T-E-E. It's just T. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's like one of my main guys that got me into this. It's like one of the guys that got me into it. And then, yeah, that's just, dude, I got all these other DJs, but man, that, you know, and my family and everybody else out there, I mean, I don't know you, but I'll give you support if we do it all the right way and stay together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm here to do my thing, but I'm also here to pass the torch, because, you know, you live once, you die once. But man, if I give that torch to somebody to keep it pushing, I'll be happy to hand it over, you know. But that man right there, DJ T, I mean, literally, he pretty much just opened my eyes about DJing, and he has as much props. I mean, I give a lot of props to all these DJs that paved the way, but even though we have different moms, different dads, but that's my brother. Get down.
I like that.
Yeah. And then I really wanted to pass the torch to a lot of DJs, you know, because it's just like, I don't want this genre, the lifestyle to phase out. I want to keep going. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, literally, I'm just want to rock it out every day, man. I give my gig 110%, because what if I don't come back the next day? What if I'm gone? I want everybody to be like, yo, man, this guy rocks it 110%. We'll bust his back 110%, just to make us happy. That's how I look at it, man. That's how I treat every day I wake up. I give it 110%. I ain't no slacker. I go 100 on the whole thing. So,
I like
hey,
that.
man, I really appreciate you letting me get on the radio, man. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, anytime, man. And you got to keep us updated on that solo project so we can talk about that. And like I said,
I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be called No Mistakes Allowed, Volume 1. The hustle continues.
No Mistakes Allowed, Volume 1. Okay,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, you know where that's coming from.
Yeah.
You know where that lyric came from. I mean, we were sitting there. I was just drinking a 40 with my homie. I'd be like, no mistakes allowed. God, I'm gonna use that. And that is like, if everybody knows where I come from, I mean, I do love that track. Love that artist. I ain't gonna say the artist because I get somebody that doesn't know time to figure it out.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Everybody listen. I want you to, you know, leave us a comment or tag me on Twitter, or you can tag him at DJ Buget Money. Tag him and let him know who said those lyrics. Say that lyric one more time before we get off the air.
No mistakes allowed.
No mistakes allowed.
I could say the rest. I could say the rest of this whole verse, but I'm like, nope. I'll stop it at that.
When you're our age and you say it,